Hi everyone, my name is Meshak Alpha PhD. The last video that I did on this platform, we began to look at the question that has come up a number of times in my discussion with some of my people, some colleagues and mentees, and we're talking about when intellectual intelligence, academic intelligence, is not enough to be able to break through the world of monetizing your academic skills, your intellectual capability. And I was talking about things that have to do with mentorship, etc. Yes, this is a build up to it because there are some discussions that have ensued from that video that I did. And I've had this form of discussion with some of my students, and I'm bringing it here again. Of course, I'm just trying to stimulate reasoning. I'm just trying to see how we can think beyond the box. One of the things that has been a concern for me is the fact that many of us, especially in this part of the world, have become more of consumers than we are producers. Now, when I talk about consumers and producers, I think the first thing that comes to mind is agriculture. And by the way, I'm on a retreat somewhere with my wife, some time away from home, and I decided to use one of the gardens around where we are to do this video. So it's appropriate that I'm talking about agriculture because you're seeing the palms and all of that. Now, in agriculture, everybody eats food, and we either produce what we eat or we consume what others have produced. Now, the same is true with knowledge. You are either a producer of knowledge or you are a consumer of knowledge. Now, I am in the civil engineering field, specializing in water resources and environmental engineering, and we have a number of software that we use. For example, we use the HEC software developed by the US Army Corps of Engineers. And then in the geotechnical engineering, for instance, we have software like Plugsies that are used for a number of geotechnical analysis, like seepage analysis, like slope stability analysis. And this software is built on the principle of finite element method. Now, it's common for you to find civil engineers who pay attention to developing expertise in how to use the software to solve their problem. They do analysis and they can do reports. They are being paid for it. But the challenge is somebody produced that software. And the person who produced that software used the general principle of finite element method or methodology in that aspect of civil engineering and decided to digitize it so that instead of doing the manual calculations to solve these things, you have a tool that can make you easily do it. So we have students in training who don't want to understand the finite element methods from first principle because they feel that these things are tedious, but they want to be able to master the software and then to use it. Now, the challenge with that is that software is garbage in, garbage out. And if you feel that the existing software is not giving you what you want, you lack the foundational principles to be able to bring up an alternative. So you remain a perpetual consumer and you constantly you are fixed with what others have produced. I think that the engineers, the people who will be able to change the narrative and bring up some level of solutions that will also bring monetary gains to them are people. I'm not saying everybody must become a software developer. I just use that as an example. We must ask ourselves, am I a producer or I am a consumer? We consume what others produce, but it's also important that there are things that we also produce in form of knowledge that others can also consume from this. If we do not pay attention to the first principles, we lack the ability to become producers. So join me on this journey as we continue. We want to see how we pay attention to some first principles in various aspects of engineering, and I may be delving into some aspects that may not be entirely engineering. I talked about statistics and all of those things. They may not be exclusively engineering. So whether you're an engineer or not an engineer, you may be able to benefit from the things that we'll be sharing on this platform. So join me on this journey. If you're yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, click the notification button so that you can get notified when we drop new content on this page, and then invite your friends, your loved ones, and even your enemies to subscribe to this so that we can go on this journey together. Once again, I am Meshach Alpha. Come then with